We are back with our eye on the economy, talking with an economist with the Federal Reserve who has a real-time view of what's happening in North Carolina because she lives here. Laura Ullrich, welcome. Fed Chair Jay Powell said in Washington this week we'll be living with high inflation and higher interest rates for some time. How long do you think it could take to bring down inflation to the Fed's goal of 2%?
Chair Powell's comments were basically that it'll be higher than maybe some people expected it, and interest rates might have to persist higher longer than expected. So I wouldn't say necessarily we'll live with high inflation, but maybe higher than a 2% average for a while. And he's really making those comments based on the very strong job report that we had on Friday. We added 517,000 jobs. Economists were expecting about 185,000. So this was a huge job report. And so what he's seeing is that demand is still really hot in the economy, which pushes prices up. And so it may take a while to get prices to back down to that 2% average inflation rate.
When you talk to employers and business leaders here in the Triangle, what are you hearing from them about the prospect of layoffs in the months ahead?
Yeah, it's really interesting, Steve. It's kind of there's two worlds right now. Most of the people we talk to are doing very well in the Triangle. So most of the businesses we talk to are still seeing high demand. They're still, able to maintain their margins even with inflation. But that's not true in all sectors. So if you talk to somebody right now in the residential real estate sector, for example, in some areas of commercial real estate, things are quite different because those sectors are really interest rate sensitive.
As hard as it is for people who are losing their job, explain why layoffs are an important part of bringing down inflation.
I wouldn't necessarily say layoffs are an important part of bringing down inflation, but cooling the economy is an important part of in getting inflation down, and that oftentimes does come with layoffs. Prices go up when demand is higher or supply is lower, and we've really seen both of those things. So we've seen significant supply chain shocks. You go in and look at the price of eggs right now, that's up because the supply of eggs is way down because of avian flu, right? There's issues with what's going on in Russia, Ukraine. There's all these supply issues. And we've seen very high demand, which is a classic recipe really for higher inflation. And so to get inflation to come down, there's not a lot we can do about the avian flu overnight. There's not a lot the Fed certainly can do about Ukraine, but we can cool the economy by raising interest rates, which causes people and business to borrow less, pull back their spending, and encourages them to save more. And so in that process, you typically do see a cooled employment market as well.
Cooling the economy, that's a key part of bringing down inflation, the high prices we're paying for just about everything. Laura Ullrich, an economist with the Federal Reserve who lives here in North Carolina. Always great to get your perspective, Laura. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Steve.